Welcome to the women's final of Windmill 2018. We have the European champion side, Atletico of Finland, against the ladies from Mainzelmädchen, the Mainzelmädchen. I'm Hannah Penderbury and I'm joined by the inimitable Benji Rees. And we're getting this game underway with the German ladies in red on offense.
Early break chance.
Yes, indeed, as we see Essi Inkinen striding and picking up the disc. Frans Rantanen looks towards the end zone, but not really much movement upfield, looking a little bit stagnant. Going to need a reset from the handlers. Oh, and an errant pass sails past the open hand of the number 19, Vapu Renalden.
Something to note with this final, since the open final was about 15 minutes ago, there's definitely more of a breeze in the stadium. And that's, I like to play a factor in this game, especially on deep puts where the wind's a bit variable when the disc goes high up as the stadium shelters it a bit more when it's lower to the ground. But on big puts where it's higher in the air, the wind's more likely to affect it. So it's nice to see these teams grind for this game.
Quite right there, Benji. We'll see Mainzelmädchen going against that wind right now. Coming out of Verkelstad look, but a pick. Pause play just for a moment. Hoffman will go back in towards the stack. Hund on disc right now. Lovely around break. Negative yardage, but happy to do that. Captain Hosokawa unable to get her hands around that one. She'll be disappointed with that.
Such a rare mistake from her.
Well, rare mistake from any of the players on this pitch, to be honest. We are in the final of Windmill after all, Benji.
That's a fair cop, man. I'll give you that one.
And a big put from Essi Inkinen finds Olga Rinto, but she goes up with one hand lackadaisically.
She's gone down touching her calf muscle. I'm not sure whether she landed awkwardly or maybe she's cramped up when she went up. I'm not for sure how that hurt.
Well, hopefully she'll be all right. She's a favoured target for the Atletico side. Remember saying her name rather a lot in their quarter-final matchup against the ladies of Belgium. Gentle, yeah, just a little bit of an awkward one there, I think, Benji.
Yeah, maybe a touch too far. She'll be disappointed not to put it, having got a hand round it. I think at this moment in time, her main focus is just getting off the pitch to the side and trying to make sure that she's okay to continue in this game.
Indeed, and her teammates will look after her as she is replaced. I believe that's the number 59. Jana Galpala. So there'll be a self-check where the injury occurred. Mainzelmädchen now another opportunity to punch in this upwind. Caroline Janitsky on the disc.
Trying to get their team pumped up on this first point.
A little bit of late cuts from the stack. Oh, we'll lean back with that one. Came right at her face. That's inside to Hosokawa. And there we go, very clear player. Waiting for the pit call in my mind there, Benji.
Yeah, it's Inkinen who's the player who was obstructed. She's going to catch up a little bit.
Kuznitsi on the disc. Really struggling to find much flow, but great use of the brake side, and there's a disappointing error from Gnyagel.
Ever so slightly, it was enough to take it out of a path.
Oh, Lizzie Jones put a high one, batted out. That was a bit of a risky shot there, Benji.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the plan was with that. He was in that space, but the high blade was always an interesting and slightly more creative throwing choice there.
Yeah, you certainly want to release high when you're throwing downwind, but Jones, yeah, not sure what she was looking for quite there, but again, very scrappy point, not really making much progress up the field. Good defense from Atletico.
And they're a side that does pride themselves on playing tight coverage and really making things difficult for opposing teams' offense. So we're seeing that early on in this game.
Certainly are, Benji. And again, Nation looking to the break side, those around backhands. Oh, finding the pressure releases. A lovely inside to Hosokawa, one of the captains of the German team. There we go, making good progress now, seem to have found their flow. Again, those round backhands, Atletico will need to shut those down. Hosokawa looking upfield, not much in the way of cuts, finds the up line. Hoffman. Hosokawa. Good arounds again, very nice break side work. Bit messy in the end zone. Good resetting. Whilst they wait patiently, and there we have it. Fancy piece of footwork, not quite called, not good. Sideline does not like that at all. There are boos from the stands, Benji.
There's a lot of people around level with that line, putting their hands in the air, saying that they think it should be a goal. And they're going to give it up.
Maybe a little bit of a call on that one.
Yeah, hard to see exactly what happened. It felt like there was a bit of contact from both sides. Inkinen's such an expansive thrower that she's not afraid to put that deep shot. It's usually a pretty potent weapon for the Atletico offense.
Oh, an uncontested foul, even though
Yeah,
Obratsova is putting that one back. She didn't appreciate that the defender wasn't contesting that call. And so she will have it on the end zone line. Can she make a conservative disc-retaining option? She can indeed. Oh, doesn't like either of those cuts into exactly the same space. Getting a little bit frustrated now. There's another lovely backhand around from Atletico after complimenting Mainzelmädchen earlier.
Also very proficient at breaking the force.
Oh, that high release is beautiful. And a dirty little pass. There we go. Punching it in much faster there, Benji.
Yeah, that first point allowed maybe the players to get their legs underneath them, and I was pretty comfortable with that with Atletico. The deep shot from Inkinen was reasonably well defended, but not with an appropriate level of contact. Gave up the foul, and from there they did the right thing of not just trying to squeeze it in early, but playing safe and just playing solidly around the back before a window opened. At one point we saw two players come to that front cone, but the right option of looking them off, and here's the replay, that high backhand. Lovely
take there from Obratsova even. And a little punch in to her teammate. I think it's an interesting one. You say giving up the foul. I think just it was one of those unfortunate incidences, Benji, where the players' feet got caught together, and that was where the foul was generated from. But certainly that throwing power of Inkinen really coming up with the goods. I think Mainzelmädchen really played small ball into the wind, didn't want to put it up. I think probably because of the size of the Atletico squad. They are quite a tall team. But that sometimes you just have to put up a biscuit into the wind and go run it down and get that field position if you can get the block.
Yeah, put the faith in your receivers to go and do their job.
So will we see more of the same small pass ultimate from the ladies in red, who are not dancing with me, unfortunately, but they seem to be finding each other pretty well. Oh, bit of a squeezer there.
It's a really nice snag.
Oh, laying out form of the defense, but not able to get a hand to it. Looking very powerful near sideline. Hosokawa again snaps the fake. Looks for the around, can't find anyone on. Put it in hope. Oh, that's a lovely float to the far side for Katrin Ganyagel.
That is a visionary throw from Kia Hosokawa. Was looking down the open side, but space was clogged and couldn't get a return available on the high stall. Saw the defender sitting very open side and was able to pivot it over the top. Must be a touch on that throw, feather on the flick, and it goes over towards the break side where Ganyagel was able to make the catch without any real problem.
Oh, and then we see the layout attempt again from multiple angles.
Defender came reasonably close to it, but couldn't quite get there.
And then you see, you pointed out exactly right there, Benji. Defense not really looking at the thrower at all. There's the error. Face marking from Sonia Stalton.
And it's good. That's one of the really key things about defending anywhere on the field, but especially in the end zone. You need to be able to take a position where you can, at least in your peripherals at the bare minimum, see both the person you're marking and the thrower, the disc, so you can prevent situations like that where something's just going to go over your head unsighted.
And amazing vision, of course, to find Gnagel in that far corner. So that is 2-1 in this game to Mainzelmädchen, who are now going to try and get a break. And there we go, another huck from the hands of Atletico will be just popped off the top of the fingers. Bit of a collateral contact there. But Inka Westman unable to read that one, I think.
Yeah, they're going to have a little talk about exactly how much contact there was and whether it affected him. Manton was in the area as well.
So we'll see that again. Slow motion replay. You can see she goes up, gets both hands near it, but punches underside of the rim as we see an unforced error on the field from Mainzelmädchen.
Yeah, whatever call there may have been was retracted, but Mainzelmädchen give it back immediately.
Oh, and Izzy Inkanen. There we go. That's a lovely looping roll curve backhand. Inka Westman reads that one much better that time.
That was a much nicer job. And it's interesting because normally with those around shots, you see players tend to release them a bit higher, but obviously with the wind picking up a bit more now, there's more chance of that being affected. So did a really good job of getting it low and really bending it around. And it's going to tie us back up at 2 apiece.
Right, you are, Benji. And can we say all the points thus far, I believe, have been scored upwind. So talking about the conditions being a little bit grey, overcast and gusty, clearly both teams showing their prowess in terms of throwing ability in the wind.
Yeah, you can't make it to a final of a tournament like this, especially on a weekend with the weather we've had, without being able to throw very proficiently in all these conditions. And it must be said that this wind is not as bad as it has been at various points.
Certainly on Friday's play, it was ruthless at times, the wind. Quite nice yesterday. Saw some red marks on the shoulders of some players yesterday from those who've been lulled into a false sense of security, but Mainzelmädchen are not going to be caught sleeping right now. Again, not really deciding to take any long shots. Nice lead pass there, but unfortunately going with one hand. There, Prince doesn't secure it, and so Atletico with a chance for a break opportunity.
Slightly too nonchalant perhaps on that. Had despite the time and space to go with 2
minutes
to take it
and
early.
there we go, another long put. And is that going to be, fielded very well. Great grab by Kochnitsky.
Yeah, threw it into what was triple coverage.
Oh, and there we go. No mistakes that time from Thea Prince. Oh, but a missed throw, I say. Commentator's curse.
Get out of my head.
No, Benji. We must become one impenetrable commentary force for this game.
I'm genuinely terrified there.
I know, but it's fine. And there is a lovely sinker. And again, fielded double blocks. That's fantastic work from Milena Kochnitsky.
No, I know she's playing on the Mainzelmädchen O-line, but she's proving herself to be a more than capable defender. And she's possibly the smallest player on the field at the moment, but that's two deep. She's got consecutive possessions for Atletico.
Well, that's just the ability to absolutely nail the read of the disc, but unfortunate errors are costing this Mainzelmädchen side right now. Really good opportunity for Atletico. If they can connect, there we go. That's 1. Can they make it 2? Oh no, an errant throw. Lots of throwing errors in this point, Jay. It's just...
It's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's final stage jitters a little bit perhaps, and obviously Atletico and Mainzelmädchen as well, no stranger to big games. Mainzelmädchen the German national champions, Atletico the European champions, but there's always going to be a little thing in your mind whenever you go into these games, regardless of how often you've been there.
I can't agree more with you there, Benji. But also perhaps these two teams not having seen each other. And there we see a long shot from Mainzelmädchen. Oh, what a take. That was perfect, but it's going to be called back just to make sure.
Did a really good job of tracking it all the way down the side. And we're going to force into Hasakawa on the near side for the Mainzelmädchen goal as well.
Yeah, lovely throw there from Mika Harms. And there we go. But we were talking about Atletico's long puts and Mainzelmädchen showing they have guns too, Benji.
They certainly do. We're not afraid to fire them on that point. That was a lovely throw. I thought for a second that the edge was just going to get a little bit wrong and tail out of the pitch, but she did really good of tracking it all the way down the sideline. You see it here on the replay. It snags it in trailing edge. Made me a little bit squeamish, but good focus there to have a look at the end zone. Hosekara is so quick across the ground, and the Atletico defender had no chance there.
Yes, very rapid indeed. The captain of the Mainzelmädchen team. I honestly thought for a moment that there was going to be an outcall from Vera Manna, because you were saying it was a nice throw, but there was not a margin of error there. The footwork of the receiver had to be on point, which it was.
Yeah, she made that play look a lot easier than it actually was.
Oh, definitely. Which is what all the best players do, of course. And so, 3-2. Another upwind score as we see a zone look now from the Germans.
I like this look. We've spoken how the wind popped up a little bit, and this just, even if it's just going to make them think a little bit more, change things up.
Well, you say that, Benji. Atletico have a very throw-powered offense, should we say.
No, that's not really a surprise when you've got players like Lincoln who can just seemingly hit any space on the field at any time.
Funny, though, for a team to be called Atletico and not be generating their offensive flow by athleticism alone.
Well, what a hammer over the top to uncork.
Oh, yes, that's beautiful to Leno. Good work through. Say, not really looking that flustered, able to find their options quite nicely. Jones now on the disc, who's going to put a big backhand to Katarina Rantanen, who's going to be put under heaps of pressure from the defense. Excellent work from, I think that's Helen Gross-Braukmann.
Yeah, she did a really good job of drawing her underneath the disc a bit too much. Maybe Rantanen would have been better off trying to trust her own read. See it here that just get too far underneath it.
She does. I think she's concerned about using her body to keep the defender out of the way. Oh, that's a lot of contact on the mark there.
There's a receiver streaking deep for Mainzelmädchen, but she's going to be looked off in favour of a more conservative
option.
and
That's a great little bit of defensive pressure. Well, I say a little bit, a lot of defensive pressure from Raquel Fista.
And it's just going to be single coverage this time. Not happy with the way that Atletico worked through the zone on the last possession. Just going to switch to going one-on-one here, but that's going to cause a pick. That was very congested, that stack very tight in downfield, and that is often going to cause these stoppages and collisions.
Indeed, clustered positioning on the far sideline right now.
It's a backhand force, trying to trap them on that sideline.
Indeed, resets from the handlers, fine. Chooses Jones up the line.
The defender temporarily gets wrong side, but they can't capitalise with a quick break.
Placement back to Jones. A little bit static upfield. Not much in the way of flow. Lovely inside low backhand. Rantanen will pop it back to Jones, the distributor from the US of A.
It's a really nice round break there. Working more towards this side of the field and giving them some open side space to work with.
No one cutting for the backhand into the open space. Favouring the break side for sure. And there we see lovely shot from Rantanen into the hands of the number 59, Raquel Fista. Didn't see much of Fista on the pitch in the quarter-final. Good to see her being a little bit more active in this final game. And that's another hold. We're just trading at the moment, 3-all. So what do you think of that zone look there, Benji?
I think it's a good idea. They were, it really frustrated Yaka in their semi-final. Max Lowe was fortunate to commentate on, and Yaka, of course, were many people's favourites coming into this weekend. But Mainzelmädchen were well-deserved winners, 15-11 the final scoreline in the end. And that zone was partly why, because it took the big momentum-generating plays out of their offence. And it's so difficult as an offence when you have to grind and score these points. Even if you do manage it, it's not as exhilarating as just really beating someone one-on-one, where you just have to grind it up slowly and slowly and slowly. It can be a bit deflating.
And certainly in the conditions we've experienced at this Windmill 2018, it's been a lot of zone out there, and it's one of those things. I've been talking to a lot of teams that have said they've been frustrated mentally and unable to make those plays, and there we go. Very early unforced error there. No defense whatsoever, just a complete miscue. That is desperately unfortunate.
Just popped it up at the wrong point, and
again, the lovely arcing flicks. Still a backhand force from the German side. interesting. It's the obviously Atletico forcing the sidearm throw with a lovely backhand round breaks for their offense. Nice little movement between the handlers there, just really patient. Big fan of that. Got it clear. A cut comes from the far side. A risky shot goes up. Very well read. That's beautiful work from Obrazova. Back to the hands of Walter. Another of the, as I said, talking about Jones, the USA distributor, and there's a distribution from the other American teammate on the Atletico side. Holstering on the sideline. Doesn't like the look of the reset, pops it up the top. A pick call. Not sure that will have affected the score though there, Benji.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Like the way we'll obviously let the players come to a resolution, see what exactly what if any effect it had. And yep, well called. How are they going to decide that no harm was really done? And so
yeah, Vera Manna there with her defender on the shoulder, taking that one under pressure. Pick elsewhere. Oftentimes when you hear a pick call on that sort of situation, it will be because there is a receiver directly in front of the thrower with absolutely no one anywhere near them, Benji. So that was sort of where my instinct took that. And there we go. I believe that is the first break of score, Benji. Atletico take the first blood in this match.
It's always a nice little thing to hang your hat on there. Obviously, it's not going to necessarily decide the winner, although we have seen games with very few breaks in them at this tournament. But they've been so keen to try and get off to fast starts. We saw their game we streamed against Diaka earlier in the tournament, where they got off to a slow start, dug themselves into a little bit of a hole, and then raced back. And they've been determined to start faster in this final, and they've done it here. And part of the reason has been with this backhand force, they've done a really good job of breaking it around, and it's utilising a full 360 degrees on those pivots. They're not just going side to side, they're going a bit backwards, so they can really curl these forehands around. It's a nice use of that pivot first. It's going to be a travel here that's going to, a pick even, that's going to stop things. And
it is unfortunately not caught. That is another, again, the Irish really creeping into the Mainzelmädchen offense. And here we go, a bit of a high ball from Messi Inkinen. No one will catch that because there are 3 red shirts around the only potential receiver. Great defense from the Mainzelmädchen ladies.
Nice tone on that sideline as well to start this possession for Mainzelmädchen.
We're having some replays right now for your screen, but hopefully we can get back to the action that's live.
Oh, scorching deeper from Hosokawa, and it's just a touch too far, and I don't think it came back in either.
Indeed, that was an unfortunately too big a throw. Difficult to put them up in this wind.
So this is going to be brought in by Atletico.
And Keenan on them up, but that one didn't come in, so it's going to be quite a short field. As we said, apart from that one break from Atletico, thus far all the points have been scored up wins as offensive holds, but up wins nonetheless. So be interesting to see if Atletico can make it a double break, put themselves in a very powerful position early in this game.
And this is really good field position as well.
Atletico with a stack very close to the far sideline. Again, really attacking that break side space. Leno in the center of the field.
Lovely inside backhand to open up that space.
Good faking, solid work. Finds Rantanen. To Fista. Nice arounds. Both teams making really effective use of the break side rather than sort of grinding it towards the open. Making the marks respect a little bit more.
Stoppage is going to be in the middle of this field with potentially another pick. I don't know whether it affected that up the line throw. Potentially not.
Yep, disc will stand where it is. Again, Atletico stacked very, very close to the open side. Difficult in the end zone, and Inkinen gets a hand to it. Not sure she was expecting that to come behind her hip like that.
No, I think maybe still kept rising a little bit, just tried to really squeeze it in, thread the needle, but Inkinen wasn't quite ready for it, and so Mainzelmädchen will get out of jail there.
Yeah, expecting a lot from their star player, and again, another unforced error. Mika Harms there. Both hands on the disc, but neither of them catches it. And a pop-up. Oh, and a bit of a risky shot there from Lizzie Jones. Vapurananen not able to reel that one in either. Couple of errors on this far windy end of the pitch, Benji.
And they made a few errors in their games on Friday that they really eliminated in their run to the final in bracket play yesterday. And that's probably why they were able to have such a different score against Yaka, whereas they lost 15-4.
That's a high ball, and the tall lady gets it. Ganyago even going to put it up. That's going to be fielded by Jones for sure. A call, a little bit of a hand slap potentially. No call. Sorry, I take it back. No hand signaling. Just arms in the air. It's great work from Mainzelmädchen. I thought that was that the hospital pass might have gone the other way. But now Atletico with the entire field to work up. Happy to do that.
This is where you don't necessarily mind turning over deep shots so much, especially with the wind being what it is that it is tricky to work at the full length of the pitch in this direction. You can potentially force a short field turnover if you can play that shutdown defense.
Well, the wind has currently dropped. Perfect for those hucks to come. Inkinen is very deep right now, hopefully setting herself up for the under potentially. Oh, and a bit of a desperate shot there from Vestman.
Yeah, there's the pop-up that Mainzelmädchen were waiting for, and so now they've got the disc just behind the attacking brick mark. Moving it pretty quickly as well.
Harms on the disc. Looks for Hosokawa. Trotting towards the end zone line. Oh, and there we potential shots, but takes the conservative options. Very nice. Oh, and there's a bit of a high one, but a great take from the number 4, Marie Carlo.
She was left open by one of her teammates cutting and creating space for her, and this is why, even if you don't get the disc, that doesn't mean your cut was not useful, because 2 defenders peeled off to cover that front corner space, and it meant that when they got the disc and they got the swing around, they could put it to space and there was no one to defend it.
And we'll see that exactly as you said, Benji. The defense getting a little bit too greedy on the open side. And then had a lovely around backhand, just very high, but does the job effectively from Mika Harms. Finds Marie Kerklo.
Yeah, Rantanen tried to peel off her defender to get a block in there, but she was never quite able to get there in time. So back tied up now, forwards a piece, although, as you mentioned, Atletico did get a break on the board.
Well, we are well, actually, no, we do still have one break, Benji, because Mainzelmädchen did start on offense, so they are trading up.
Different kind of zone. This is more what we saw against Yaka. 3 at the front and then trying to just clog space downfield. Really stop these shots going through the middle. Try and force lots of swings out wide and hopefully get pop-ups on them.
And really there we see. We do see just that. Maria Martus. Walter Inkinen. Be interesting to see them throw some potential overheads. Downwind is difficult to execute those, but certainly would be nice to see those shoot over the top.
So she's split wide. You're right there, that is where the big space is in the zone.
Indeed, or she puts it into the position to throw the hammer across the field. Sides against it.
Doing a good job of stretching the back front of this Mainzelmädchen deep and creating a bit of space in the middle for a potential over-the-top shot. But the moment they're resting to take it, that's a lovely inside backhand to open things up from Inkinen.
It is absolutely beautiful. And a transition to match single coverage defense now from Mainzelmädchen. A little bit of a late adjustment from Atletico, but they do find it. Oh, lovely D. The streaking form of number 52. Oh, sorry, 92. That's why I couldn't find her. Judith Lavoie.
Found her in the end. I mean, and unfortunately for Atletico, so did they. Did a very good job of just getting the underneath line there and knocking it away before the receiver ever had a chance at it. Travel goal.
Oh, and Atletico forces the high, risky shot. Oh, what a snag from Weil. The discussion, I believe.
Yeah, inbound when she caught it, but ran out of bounds and just going to reset her feet on the line.
So, of course, Braukmann puts it very deep. Way too deep for her receiver. Axi Malta does try and run it down, but just a little bit too much fire from the captain.
I like Mainzelmädchen trying to put it deep a bit more. They try to open up their game, because if you continually try and grind it under, the defenders are going to sit on that, and it makes it so hard to work through this gut field. So you need to have some of these deep shots, even if they're not necessarily connecting 100% of the time, because it makes defenders have to stay honest all the time and respect that cut and respect those throws.
Well, and as you were saying earlier, Benji, the advantage of playing bigger pass, sort of almost huck and D, which neither of these teams are resorting to, able to play it more honestly, but choosing those longer shots. I mean, at the moment, if they're able to use that zone currently in Callahan territory, they can use that zone to pressure and get a short field into the wind. That'll certainly be something they'll be pleased with.
Yeah, we've already seen a Callahan today in the Open final, and Mainzelmädchen in not a bad position to try and set up one of their own here, really slowing down the Atletico offense.
But looking very patient and calm is that offense right now. Using fakes to move. The saggy handler marks around quite effectively. A little zipper through, that's lovely. Finding Inken on the far sideline. There's a little hand gesture of where the heck is everybody as my roster goes flying. Wind really picking back up again now.
Inken does a really good job of just finding a little pocket of space beyond these defenders towards that sideline, and the inside backhand through the teeth of that defense has been the preferred method of getting it towards her. And same thing this time, Inken throwing the disc, but gets a receiver to sit on the sideline and uses the inside out backhand to squeeze it through.
Yeah, working it a lot down that far sideline with the around flicks they've been throwing all game thus far. The cup starts to get a little bit more aggressive, like you say, the teeth of the defense starting to try and gnash its way at the disc.
So we're in a scaffold on this side of the field, so I'm thinking maybe with the advantage on that far side, maybe it's a bit more sheltered from the wind, with the stadium providing a little bit of cover.
Indeed, full of the fans.
So lovely seeing a full stadium for Ultimate. It's just the atmosphere is so much more exciting when you've got the crowd behind.
Indeed you do, although I was on audience management earlier, and on this side they do tend to creep a little bit forward, but behave themselves at the moment as we see Atletico continue to throw pass after pass, looking very chilled. No one really stretching the deep field at the moment, not giving Inken any shots in terms of the full depth. Behind the wall of the upfield marks, there is some nice cover, but nearly a little pass to the floor in front of Walker there. Walker deciding she's going to go into the deeper field.
I think part of the issue here for Atletico is Mainzelmädchen have two defenders setting deep, and so even with big promising deep toes.
Oh, and there we go. Finally, the error comes. I think the issue is they didn't have anyone really stretching deep there, like you say, overloading it, trying to bat away, which they have done very effectively on the downwind, those deeper shots. And here we go, exactly as they're saying, that valuable short field into the wind to get on serve in this game. Oh, and a powerful shot across the front. That's going to bounce straight out the hands like a piece of toast of a morning. Inken, and that's going to fall short. It's going to be batted away. Excellent work from Barbara Weil.
Yeah, just able to go up a little bit earlier than her opponent and slam the disc out of that sideline. So after Atletico took so long but didn't really get anywhere on their previous possession, that time they were in no mood to hang about, trying to shoot deep early to try and gain all that field position, but unsuccessful in their attempt to connect.
And you can tell the frustration behind that pass. Not very great execution, really. Certainly expect to see Walker put it a lot deeper than that. Oh, and a huge deep shot, talking thereof. Great read from Vilma Heinonen.
Yeah, the receiver wasn't looking in that direction, but I think even if she had, Heinonen would have got there anyway. Had a
Oh,
very
and
good
a
position.
missed throw. That's unfortunate. There we go. That sails past Sonia Salston.
Just errors creeping into both sides' games now, and this happens when, in any game, where you get a point that carries on for a bit. Often it seems to be self-sustaining, where the longer the point goes on, the more tired you get, and the more those errors creep in.
And then we go, timeout. Speaking of tiredness and errors, Benji, the wise decision of Mainzelmädchen set themselves up. That's Helen Grosse-Braukmann, able to, one of the captains of the Mainzelmädchen team, one of 3, and taking the wise veteran move to settle her team before they come out and try and punch in this score.
I think this is a good move.
I think so too. They've got a good short field, not the perfect position. What do you reckon? We might see it a play to try and centre the disc, Benji?
I would be looking to either hit an isolation towards the front of the end zone, but I'd only give that maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and if that's not there, I'd spend the rest of the stall count making a concerted effort to get a swing, and if there's maybe have a dump handler to isolate with.
And we currently see, well, a little cheeky shot there of our not rival, but fellow announcers who are announcing for the fans live. And there's Herbie himself.
Herbie!
So getting a little bit of love from the crowd. Look out for Herbie. We will have a halftime entertainment here during the women's final, which potentially could just be 4 points away. Currently at 4 apiece, but I reckon we'll see far more than 4 points scored before the half. Both teams still trading from the very, well, pretty much trading. There was a little break.
And now Mainzelmädchen with a pretty good position to earn it back off this time out.
Exactly. So if they can punch this in, we'll be back on serve, I believe. So the captain, number 21, Helen Grosse-Braukmann, is going to pick it up. Mark from Maria Martus. And so, you reckon an isolated play from the front?
Yeah, if that's not there, look at the handler. And if you can't get through after a couple of seconds, clear the handler through and have someone come off the front step for a reset.
Immediate clearing of the handlers, looking for that reset. There we go, great work. Knocking on the door now. Red zone defense is not going to stop the captain from going up the line. That's a sneaky little play there, Benji.
Yeah, it was nicely done. We've seen so often, not just this weekend, where all the streams we've covered, the curse of the turnout, where if you don't have the set play you like working, teams often struggle to find a second option and they panic. But that time, did very well. The first cut, and maybe the second cut didn't even get free. But they did eventually find the cut they wanted, and they stayed patient to hit it, and then nice continuation building from that to score the goal.
Well, I really like the use of the handler reset there, immediately just going straight up the line, clearing out, allowing the other handler to come in, who then does exactly the same thing to generate that initial pass. And then Grosse-Braukmann coming straight through, actually cutting off a player who was arguably potentially even more free. And a timeout call now.
Maybe Grosse-Braukmann pulled rank a little bit there. So I'm the captain, I'll take this space.
Well, I think she had a little more momentum, already fired up, coming in at full pace. Wise decision from her teammate to back out of the cut she was about to make into the same area. Otherwise, we could have seen some friendly fire, Benji, which is never nice to see.
Not always ideal, let's be honest.
So, coming into this game, Benji, by far and above the favourites were Atletico as the only team to remain without a single loss thus far in the tournament, as opposed to Mainzelmädchen, who have actually had 2 losses to both Jacker and Gentle. So is this game going as you expected thus far?
I think it is. I expected it to be tight all the way. The Mainzelmädchen team that made the way to the final is not the same team that lost to Jacker, and obviously it's made up of the same contingent of players, and that is a really strong core in that they're all from the local area. They're not a team that flies in pickups like we've seen other teams do. They're all from Mainz and Darmstadt, and so that nice close-knit group has really, I think, it's paid dividends, because it's easier when you've got a slightly more diverse group of players and things don't go your way to really start wondering, how do we fight back from this? What's going wrong here? But if you've got that chemistry going on, you know that if you just continue to play together, you'll sort those things out.
And we'll see, hopefully, Mainzelmädchen able to use that tight-knit community team they have to put this junk defense to work.
Yeah.
Oh,
speaking of
nice
tight-knit,
pick up there.
how close is this cup? It's really getting in the teeth and in the face, and because there's other offenders really close to the disc, they're able to just swarm in and really clog space.
Indeed, making it very difficult for the handlers to punch through. Good use of the give goes. A lovely over the top. Ooh, making Inkinen have to go up.
A little bit fluttery, but she showed safe hands to bring it in.
Oh, definitely keeping them very effectively trapped on that far sideline, though. We're talking about the fact that they were favouring it, shooting the other way. Fakes the over-the-top hammer. Gonna have to watch the feet on the far side.
Yeah, and now transition coming into one-on-one defense.
Not able to really find the break side as they would have liked earlier.
Inkinen has the disc on the far sideline. Manson goes to the end zone.
Not finding the break side, but still stacking very tightly towards the far. That was good defensive pressure. Coming out, helping out Inkinen. Doesn't like any of the shots, throws the inside backhand, low release, that's lovely throwing. Got Jones in front. And a powerful cut out of the stack. I believe that is Raquel Fista using her athleticism to just power towards the far sideline in the end zone.
Inkinen was really reticent to shoot for the end zone, and a couple of cuts maybe could have got thrown to. She looked tough because she wanted someone who was genuinely really free and had lots of separation, and the right thing about just reaching around the back until she found the cut that she liked. And we see here on the replay.
Indeed. Sort of just chins off Jones, who is probably quite a nice option there, but I like it. I am enjoying, Benji, how everyone in this game is really attacking the disc quite well, which is what you have to do in this win, because if you don't really go for it, it's probably going to be bobbled out of your hands if you try and gently. We saw some slightly lackadaisical attacks early stages in this game. It's been cleaned up a bit better now.
You really have to go for it, because even if these variations are only slight, often that can be all it just needs to, rather than go right into the bread basket, just bounce off your fingertips and give you a nasty little bump as well as a drop.
Indeed, and we will see the wind start to pick up into more of a gentle breeze. It has been coming and going. Currently quite a light touch. Lovely flow out of the blocks from Mainzelmädchen. Nice work from the handlers up the line. Apple on the disc. But defensive pressure now starting to creep in on the upfield. Omakawa. Oh, and that's just going to be over the top. Can it be redeemed by her teammate? It is. Excellent heads up from Treberg.
Yeah, the wind popped it over Hosokawa, but was nice enough to keep it in the air for her teammate to mop it up.
Force comes in. Again, interesting to see the difference in the choices of the forces. Oh, and there we go. We have seen Melina Kosnitsky have some bids. And there she goes to work on offense. Mostly having to get them back when her team had turned over when Atletico was shooting downfield. But going to the ground, lovely clap catch. See that again. From Inkinen finding that streaking fisticut. And there the score we've just seen. Lovely separation, jukes a little bit and then comes and bounces straight back across. So that's a timeout call. nearing ever closer towards half-time. And we'll have a bit of Herbie action for you. Herbie in the box bike, where the fans in the stands will try their best to throw a disc into the box at the front. We can see Herbie actually just behind the Mainzelmädchen team. Don't know if we can get a shot of that perhaps. He's at the ready. If we can see the fans with the discs in hand, we're just going to get a lovely shot of Mainzelmädchen and the elephants in the background. You can tell the wind's died a little bit because their ears were blowing a lot more aggressively, but a few points ago.
So I've got a question about Herbie.
Yes.
Is he an African or an Indian elephant?
That is a good question. I know he's the crown prince of Elephantania, but I'm not sure
I did not know
where
that.
exactly it is.
Interesting. What's the capital of Elephantania?
I think you should find out. There we go. We do see Herbie with his lovely box bike.
I want one of those. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've seen them in Shoreditch.
Well, we do appear to be, for some reason, having Herbie on the field right now. That seems to be happening a little bit early. We are only 6-5 in this game as opposed to during the half.
I think you'll be having
A timed half. Oh, there we go. So halfway through the game as opposed to at the half score. Herbie doing a great job of continuing to pedal the bike despite taking a hit almost directly into the trunk.
Oh, that was right on the box. No, from what I understand, you need to get the disc into the box and you get the goodies.
You do indeed get goodies if you can hit it into the box. Accuracy winning points, and there we see a little celebration. Arms in the air, yes, I got it in the box. So now the players, so the volunteers will look to collect the frisbees, as will some of the players helping out.
Is he even going to go down the far side? That's unfair. Where did it go?
Well, unfortunately, Benji, unless you can hammer it from here.
You know full well that I would thumb it.
Oh, you would thumber it, and it would probably go about 3 yards in front of us.
Hey, that's grossly unfair. I threw a thumb
Only because
when we played Galti on Thursday.
Well, only because Benji, I reckon what would happen is
I'd hit the scaffold.
you'd hit the scaffold.
Yeah, I would totally do that.
So we are in our commentary tower of power.
Oh, I like that.
Indeed. In the eye in the sky, bringing you the action here from the women's final of this Windmill tournament as the sun pokes its head out through the clouds, has a little look at what's going down on the field this afternoon.
It's a lovely afternoon for Ultimate. There's now the sun's come out. We mentioned there's a bit of a wind. It's what I'd call a thrower's wind, in that it's not so strong that it's going to be just an absolute nightmare, but it's not so weak that you don't have to properly think about these throws and really a lot of torque and revolution on these releases. Really separates the weak from the check.
Certainly does. Well, and we've not really seen that many bobbly throws. Everything's mostly coming out quite flat. Lots of roll curves, though, actually. But nothing really catching the wind and going too awry. A couple of high, lofty passes, but not any more than you would expect from elite sides such as this. As we'll again see the Mainzelmädchen zone look. Good crashes in there, really clustering the handler set. Three very close to the disc. Yeah, happy to take it under pressure from the cup.
This has been the zone they favoured in this direction.
Oh, and Rantanen throws it directly into the stomach of Mainzelmädchen.
When we say a throw straight in the gut, that was literally straight into the gut.
And that's the wrong kind of straight into the gut. Oh, and finds the hands, but unfortunately they are closed too slowly. An unforced error from the captain, Kyoko Hosokawa.
And that's not something you see very often. Actually, we saw her make a similar drop in the semi-final against Yaka, and she came flying back later at that point with a layout D. And
this time she falls over, but a complete error from the hands of the handler.
Yeah, the wind just a little bit more strongly, and that was all it needed just to float it up and out of this sideline.
And again, Mainzelmädchen with a prime opportunity for a break. Oh, and another drop. That is disappointing, Benji.
Two chances, punching a break to start this second stanza right on the end zone line. neither of them can be taken, and that is really disappointing for the side, any side, especially the side, the quality of the German champions, Mainzelmädchen.
Indeed, and it hit her right in the hands as well. But we'll focus on Atletico, who are now again that clustering cup. Release valve found. That's going to dip in front of the captain, Grosse Braukmann.
I would generally prefer a player to catch their D, especially in a situation as windy as this, where I've just seen people, even simple slapdowns like that, you catch their disc and it pops out and through. But I guess she's thinking that with no one really ready to play offense, not in the right position, they can set something up more slowly. But
and a spicy disc flies past Axi Malte.
all these throws seem to be like they're going very fast and very zippy. I prefer them to have a bit more touch on them.
That's the thing. They're throwing so hard upwind. They're having to put lots of snap on the disc. It's the hard adjustment when you're shooting into the opposite direction, Benji. And we've seen that happen quite a lot. Pretty much all the points in many of the the games on Friday were scored upwind, which is a testament to the throwing capabilities. And another longer shot. Good yardage gain there.
Oh, that's a quality roll.
Roll, my pretty, roll. And that will settle in the far right corner. No, I'm not sure. There we go. Taking it as if it rolled out the back and rolled further, but actually it comes to the front because it's still within bounds, still on the pitch.
I realised I'm mistaken. I would not be surprised that Mainzelmädchen look deep there rather than trying to play in the shadow of their own zone.
Oh, and thrown directly into the floor. Puts her hands on the knees. Disappointment on the face of Malte. Lovely around flicks. Westman holds onto the disc for a long time. Does Vapurananam. Jones surveying the field also, not really finding much in the way they like. Oh, a bit of a over-the-shoulder throw. Well fielded by Westman. Back to Jones. He's got a casual tracking look, and oh, a flying
really
catch.
Nice snatch.
Yes, it is a lovely snatch indeed. Brunaunen reeling that one in. Finds Rantanen and a call, a pit call. I think the play will probably stand where it was.
I'd imagine so good use of hand signals from both sides, which is exactly what you expect from sides represented in the world.
Indeed. They'll be practicing those, I'm sure. And we'll see another look at the absolutely saucy snag. Oh, and there is a
pretty devastating collision.
That is a ballsy play there from the just
flashing in to try and get the tee.
Unfortunately, all the players now crowding towards the two collided teammates.
She and the receiver just hit it really hard. And no way to protect herself.
And I think Hosokawa did get a clean tap on the D, but I'm not sure about that option as a move, because obviously came in with such force and tenacity. There was no way she really was going to get through that very easily without having to collide on the way out. Really came directly towards the receiver.
Yeah, any play where you can't get there without making contact shouldn't be a play you should make. And that time I guess maybe she thought that she would be able to steal through as people get the disc and get her away in time, but both were just on a head-on collision course almost. It's a pretty nasty advantage, so I do hope they're both okay, and they are coming off the field under their own power, which is good to see.
It is good. Colliding there with Leno. And let's see another look at that one. She does put the pressure on Leno. She does really have to go out and say Hosokawa, not the largest player in the world, so does get pretty much a face full of shoulder and chest. And an uncontested foul. So both those players calling injuries. Obviously we see the 55 shirt of Koshnitsky, who's been having a heck of a game here. Can't quite see the number on the shirt of the Atletico player. Oh, there we go, number 7, Sada Eklund. There we go, that's both sides. Excellent replacements. Eklund,
not bad
one of the Swedish pickups on this team, well, the only Swedish pickup, but a fantastic veteran of the game. Looking a little flustered though, putting over the top. Oh, delicate grab, tries to toe it in and be a little bit greedy perhaps. And there we go, there's the footwork from Rinalden. And let's see, Raquel Pfister looking a little bit greedy there, Benji.
Yeah, maybe tried to milk it for as long as possible, couldn't, and in the end that meant she had to go and try and scoop it up trailing edge, and a little bit uncomfortable, but then did a good job of looking around at her options and finding a player at the front of the end zone for the goal, and we're tied back up at 6 apiece now. It feels like it's been a long time since either side scored, or at least scored pretty cleanly. These points begin to get a bit of a grind now.
Oh yes, we are right in the midst of the meat grinder. Sausages being made left, right and centre. I was thinking
in the lines of, as this is obviously Windmill millennial themed, I'd say there's probably more grind in the Shoreditch coffee house.
I'm gonna let that sit there, Benji. That was beautiful. That was on point. As you say, millennial themed tournament.
What's your go-to coffee order?
Well, of a morning I like a flat white, but I try not to have too much milk as I consume plenty of my dairy-based calories in the form of cheese, Benji. So I'm a long black kind of lady, or a filter coffee, often cheaper.
As a more trendy person.
Well, certainly both these teams have been hitting the coffee stall here. Judging from the energy with which they're playing offense and defense. Great work from Mainzelmädchen. Looking under not too much pressure from the Atletico defense.
You can see Atletico sticking, going one-on-one, haven't switched to zone in the same way that Mainzelmädchen have.
Well, Atletico do like to play that physical defense, just taking on their matchups and trying to best them that way. They are doing a largely effective job. Both sides keep getting broken though, and there's a lovely inside to Hosokawa. Sweeping fakes. Looking for the up lines, but oh, and Eklund! What a bid! Players will have a little discussion as there'll be a foul call. Oh, I'd love to take another look at that play there, Benji. That was a saucy little piece. Let me see. A lot of contact on the way out. I'm not sure. Contested foul will be called. Looked largely clean initially. I think
they both had a rather large piece of that disc.
See a very slow motion replay. So I think she gets two hands round it, but Eklund in the middle also. Anyway, back in play and a big risky shot. Blade goes up and the disc falls into the turf.
Probably not the execution they wanted on that. The previous throw. The contest not necessarily a bad result. It was so tight that it was difficult to tell either way.
And Walker puts up a big one. Eklund putting under it, but Hosokawa says no, thank you very much. That is going directly into the floor. But as we've said, big shots, good yard gainage.
Not sure whether the disc would have made its way to the target, but Hosokawa was not in any mood to let Atletico find out.
Dub cut there, looking a little tired, but now in flow. To say Hosokawa and the 55 Kotsuki really owning this offensive point, and there we see an error, unfortunately, from the hands of Catherine Ganyago. Oh, and just thrown into the hands of Hosokawa. What was that all about there? Who knows?
Hosokawa's all over the field at the moment.
As the Seagulls descend into the far end zone. Not sure who's left them some snacks. It's attracting them there.
Do you think the Seagulls are rooting for their German compatriots?
No, I think perhaps the Seagulls are trying to get involved with the shirts. Hosokawa. Oh, and a huge play from Vestman. Not able to avoid any contact with Hosokawa, but she decides that that was a clean enough bid for her.
Yeah, got up and got this nice early. Did get a bump with Hosokawa on the way out, but
using her stature for sure, she is a head and shoulders above Hosokawa. Goes up. Actually, that's quite nice and clean. Just a little bump and goes just to the top of the shoulder. I think the trying to avoid the goalpost was more to the point there.
Yeah, those running posts at the back of the end zone. Obviously, they've got the padding around, but it's still not something you want to run into with any speed.
No, the padding will only do so much if you run directly into it with your face. Eklund there fakes the big backhand.
Yes, I think that's a little worse.
No, not the one. It's gonna have to be a high release. Hosokawa putting the pile of pressure and comes up with the goods, knocking the confidence and focus of Raquel Fista. Rather short field for the Mainzelmädchen team.
I don't think I've ever seen a player who likes to atone for her perceived mistakes as much as Hosokawa does.
And a frustrated, that will be called down for sure.
That was my initial instinct, I'll be honest.
No, then it is called. That was, that looked, the blade is very hard to pick up. A frustrated throw from the offense there. Janiska not really liking the look of anything, and oh, I'm not sure, taking a second look at that one, but fans at home, hopefully, well, I'm sure everyone has an opinion on that. Yet another look at it. Oh, you know what, Benji? I'm not sure now. That's why, but anyway, the call will stand as on the field. We are currently going to get a new disc as the attempt on that one seems to have rather tacoed the original one.
This could be a little bit worse for Ronaldo. So regardless of whether or not the disc was up, it's still a spectacular
Oh, actually, oh, okay. We're getting all the slow-mo replays of that, and I'm still not sure, but either way, it's not our call, Benji. It's the players on the field, and we got Eklund completely free deep. Who the heck let that happen? She'll run that down beautifully, tumbling to the ground in order to keep the disc alive for her team. Nicely resets, swing to Inkinen. Will we have a high release backhand? Nice and patient, lovely stuff. Oh, and a miscommunication on the reset. That is unfortunate. But can't be giving up ones like that, that's for sure. Not at this stage in the final of Windmill. Mainzelmädchen now. Again, up this near sideline, their offense just looks like a knife through butter. Oftentimes. Good up lines. Travel is called, so that will pop back. Inside channel chosen, lovely and flat, but the bid comes out. Excellent effort there. Just a miscued throw. Sat too far out for the run of Katarina Hoffmann.
Those previous flick puts up win for Mainzelmädchen have had the opposite problem of being too blady and just dying quick, and that time it was too flat and it raced away. Maybe a tiny bit of roll curve would have sat a little bit, brought it back in.
Well, best of three maybe. We've seen the roll curves have often been the frustrated shots that are just kind of just going to put it out and hope. No deep shots for Inkinen in the power position. Finds a lovely upfield. Oh, wind just pops it down towards the floor. Obratsova having to get down and dirty to try and keep that alive, but unfortunately wobbles it away. Very low release for a downwind pass from Inkinen. Definitely want to release those higher with the wind to contend with.
Yeah, try and use it to your advantage, get to just sit and float out there.
So, Mainzelmädchen on the attack, very close now. Thinks about inside it breaks, but oh, and there's Hosokawa using her speed once again to punch in for a 7-6. Just that little lead in this game might be all it takes, Benji.
Hosokawa is so rapid along the ground, and just all that happened was the defender was on their heels for a split second, and Hosokawa motored away, and the defender was never going to get a chance to recover that. Yeah,
that's all Hosokawa needs is one moment of lacking attention and hard to block the high release investment because she is a very tall player indeed. And now Atletico with it all to do to prevent the break. Nice reel in from Lavoie. Inside break, saucy. Very, very nearly there. Can they find the all-important last pass? Oh, that is a very high swing pass. Jones caught sleeping, not able to get a piece on that. She'd been closer, would have been a much higher pressure situation. But of course, trying to ensure that no undercuts come through up the line. Oh, and a huge backhand, but that's not going to be to any of the offensive players. That's just into the hands of Vilma Heinonen.
Yeah, they were not expecting that at all. And
visionary play to nobody, Benji. Visionary play to no one. And a lovely swinging action from Atletico. Hannah's just lackadaisically jogging into the cup. Not really what you want to see. And Inkinen gets good communication with Heinonen there.
Yeah,
like thought she nearly got deed by her own teammate.
Yeah, like the other off. This is my get back into position, looking for the next pass. So often you see
good home girling.
to each other. Yeah, I love them running the gauntlet a little bit there.
And that's one of the things of zone, actually, Benji, is again, like we were saying, it frustrates players mentally, allows them to not be able to use those big athletic plays, but also tries to put those miscommunications, as we see them right in front of our tower of power.
Yeah, so much about playing zone, whether it be on offense or defense, is about discipline, and it's discipline on offense to keep your spacing and keep your shape and keep communicating, and discipline on defense to not get sucked in and know what your job is.
But we're seeing some almost textbook zone offense right now. Rather lovely stuff. But looking now a little static. Oh, spicy throw from Inkinen, making Heinenen's heart jump out of her chest cavity, I'm sure.
Yeah, mine too as well.
Nice middle to Jones. We may be off to the races. Oh, Westman very free, but good holstering from Jones. Happy to be conservative and patient. They need to put this one in. And so sat on the end zone line, Inkinen. Again, Westman looking and then not quite. Rentonen coming out. Patient offense. Easy does it. Pops it in front of Izzy Inkinen, and there we go. Takes a leaf out of the book of Hosokawa. Inkinen chunneling up that line. Beautiful stuff. Benji, what do you think of that offense right there?
That was the most fluid we've seen Atletico in a long, long time. Just worked it really calmly and patiently against that zone, and then off the transition didn't get flustered and changed things up a little bit to make sure that they could get set back in formation.
Yeah, lovely and patient. I really enjoyed watching that. As we say, that little spicy pass from Inkinen to Heinonen, making our hearts jump out of our throats a little bit. There we go.
All aflutter as the disc was.
But Atletico happy to wait for the right options to come and pop in their offense. So that's a hold. We are still trading in this game. We've had a couple of breaks, Benji, but it's just neck and neck, an absolute grueling battle.
Neither side's ever been able to get more than 1 point in front. It's amazing at this stage.
It is fantastic. What a game we have in front of us.
This is something you want to see in a final. You want to see teams that are evenly matched and are close.
Unfortunately, Benji, what you don't want to see is teams that have been evenly matched for errors. And the early stages of this game was absolutely littered with unforced drops and missed throws. But both sides seem to have figured it out now, a little bit cleaner on both sides of the disc. Nice movement, good pressure there, swings around. Eklund coming in on the mark, but allowing her mark to receive those nicely. Really loose far side handler movement opens up the break space, and a big shot goes up from Hosokawa, but no one is aware of that coming. Hosokawa throws her arms into the air in frustration. Clearly she had a different idea of what the cutters should have done, but the only person seemed to be aware of that disc was Lubiov Obratsova, who fielded that very nicely.
Yeah, certainly looked like she might have been the intended target of that one, though. I'm sure she wasn't. I don't know whether there was a set play and someone was supposed to go somewhere, or
well, perhaps
just different movement.
We shall never know. We shall never know. Well, unless we ask them after the game. But Atletico now with an opportunity to take a break of score in this game. Finds Westman, who gets a bit poached off. But downfield defense doing a cracking job. Eklund behind.
Nice take with one hand there.
Inkinen going deep and coming under. Great footwork there from the captain. Yells at her cutters to come under, finds Eklund. Again, frustrated looking offense. Nice around, good pressure from the mark. Two flick around throws and another third. Oh, is that going to be out? I think that might be players all signaling that unfortunately just one squeeze of the orange too far.
Yeah, not quite able to get the toes down.
Well, a difficult channel that Westman picked for sure. Oh, are we going to see? Oh, high pressure position. But an open undercut is allowed through in that tight channel far side.
You're getting quite a few yards on that one as well.
Mainzelmädchen for the first time, not able to really find the around, and it just comes out of Hosokawa's hands. That big backhand came in hot and fast, Benji.
Yeah, maybe a bit touched too much Tabasco when it raced in maybe a little bit hotter than she was expecting.
Spicy, hot. And it just falls out of her hands. So Atletico, horizontal stack. Inkinen streaking deep. And it's going to come. Walker finds Westman under. Usually the favoured target of the Atletico squad rather than one of the big distributors. Oh, and Hosokawa nearly gets a poach block. That was tight. Heads up play from her there. We see Pfister going deep. Can she get there? Yes, she can. That's a perfect throw. Oh, that was money in the bank, Benji. I'm a fan of that.
You can take that and cash it in and buy your beer tokens with it, Hannah. What a throw.
Woof.
Woof indeed.
And there we have a break of score. Atletico 8-7 up now in this women's final. And then we go see another again. Just runs it down, eyes on the prize, no defender on her back, having left, I think, Hosokawa for dust. You see the face. I love that camera shot, team. That was fantastic. See the eyes look as she sees Pfister running deep.
Yeah, shout out to the OTTV crew. Have done a fantastic job bringing the coverage all weekend. This is the 30th game we're streaming this weekend. We've still got one more, of course, the mixed final to come. So it's a hell of an undertaking.
It is, and they've been working hard. If you ever meet an Alti TV crew member, please do feel free to give them a warm handshake or hug, you know, but go handshake first, you know.
And
boundaries.
I think they'd appreciate the beers.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. We can always be relied upon. Well, I say we're just the pretty talent that sits in the tower, but our camera crew are the real true hard workers.
And yet, despite being the pretty talent, you only ever get to hear us.
I don't know about you, Benji. I think I have a bit of a face for radio, but
yeah, me too.
but we like our garish romper suits instead. So, Mainzelmädchen will need to respond and punch in this offense. Oh, and a complete miscue. Sails out of the pitch off the hand of Marie Curlo.
Just like she got the release all wrong there, and I think even she was surprised at the speed at which it left her hand, and a lot of venom on it, and just raced out the sideline, and no one was ever going to get to it.
Yeah, Curlo will be disappointed with that one. Gave it up very quickly, but now certainly Mainzelmädchen have proven themselves a team more than capable of getting the disc back, especially, I mean, Melina Kochnitsky has been having an absolute bomb of a game. She is playing with her on fire, basically. But Atletico now opportunity to take another break. Should they be able to? Lizzie Jones looking very frustrated by her mark. Great work, and the disc will sail out of the hands of Sonia Salston. There we go. I said Mainzelmädchen were capable of getting it back, and there they do. The O-line playing some D.
That to me was all about the force by Kerklo. She did not give Rantanen any options anywhere.
She did not, and that is a hard job to do so. Kerklo makes no mistakes this time. Kochnitsky, and there she finds the captain who pops it up. Oh, there we go. That is some lovely distribution. from Mainzelmädchen to bring it back level 8 apiece.
Kerklo making amends for her previous errors by catching that goal for her side to tie it up once more. And Mainzelmädchen's offense looked more fluid that point to me.
It definitely did. Initially the unforced error, but then we see that play again for the score. A little bit of a floaty disc. Rantanen perhaps, you could argue, could have done a bit more to close up those yards, but just not quite fast enough. So both these teams, as we mentioned briefly earlier, Benji, on their way to World Clubs in but 3 short weeks.
It's only 3 weeks away now.
It is indeed. We'll be there. It'll be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully get the chance to see these teams play again. Also, we'll be joined by some other teams in the division, of course. Yaka, after their fantastic Tom's tourney performance, winning the final in indomitable fashion over Iceni. Everyone has high hopes for them. They were one of the top picks for Windmill, which of course the initial seeding is completely based on the picks contest.
Yeah, the number 1 seeds going in, and actually number 1 seeds going into the bracket. They dropped a couple of games, but were still top of the Swiss draw rankings.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bizarre thing. The fact that I think you were saying Atletico are 3rd in the Swiss draw rankings.
Are you questioning the algorithm?
I'm not questioning. I'm just saying it's different and unusual.
No, all hail the almighty algorithm.
You know, you'd think a team who'd won all their games would be ranked 1st, but no. The almighty algorithm dictates otherwise.
Mainzelmädchen came 5th in the Swiss draw as well, so if they were to win this, they'll have called what would be considered upsets in all 3 of their games. Well,
just goes to show how very tough it is at the top of the elite women's division in this tournament and in the European scene in general. A lovely pop, almost through her mark there. Vestman on the disc, looking for her reset. Not the nicest, but works. To Walker, to Fister.
They're pressuring these undercuts, but they're always step too far behind.
Hit call downfield, and this is some seat of the pants defense from Mainzelmädchen. The Atletico handlers having to look for each other directly into the wind. Everyone doing a fantastic job of shut down single coverage defense. I'm a fan of this, Benji. Oh! Huge inside, tiptoed into the end zone. Oh, and putting it in the one place the defense can't get it, Benji.
What a peach, what a peach.
And so Atletico maintain their 1-point lead. Mainzelmädchen very much on the backs of their heels. They can feel them breathing down the neck in this game.
Although that might be the wind, which is really beginning to pick up now, and that's why Atletico getting that break is so important, because now, as the wind maybe begins to play more of a factor, they've got that downwind advantage. Oh, what a throw. What a throw.
Just really reaches the arm around for that inside backhand. Oh, and we're going to see it once again. Fister, pat yourself on the back. That is a beauty of a throw.
Yeah, I'll be honest, if the camera crew just want to keep rolling that for a while, I wouldn't necessarily complain.
No, we would not complain. Although we are about to see another point. Lizzie Jones with the pull for Atletico. And so we see, again, in the centre of the Mainzelmädchen line, the 2 ladies who I identified as having had, I think, probably my standout players this game, even though they are currently behind Hosokawa. And there we see Kochnitsky, far sideline. Both small of stature, but big of heart and big of power. Oh, Atletico's now, it's their turn to pile on the pressure, shooting towards the far end zone, and huge defensive play from Lizzie Jones, tipping the disc out of the hands of Melina Kochnitsky.
Got the inside line on that up the line cut, and was able to get a hand in there and disrupt the disc and knock it away, and she was rightly pleased with herself afterwards, giving herself a nice little clap of the hands in celebration.
Well, Atletico's D-line, oh, completely missed throws. Oh, conservation of greatness from Lizzie Jones there. Oh, and in the inside, oh, a ground strip, great spirit. That's fantastic work from Kosnitsky, goes for the bid, but unfortunately unable to keep the disc in her hands. Yeah, immediately calls it down after clutching again, which you've got to go for the clutch, and they're a timeout call from Lizzie Jones. Perhaps, Benji, she's hoping that if they call a timeout, the wind will die down, as we've now got probably one of the strongest gusts so far this game. And I'm putting my hood up because it's starting to drizzle for good measure.
It is starting to drizzle. So kind of glad that we're not going to be commentating the mixed final. I can find a tiny bit more shelter somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on the field for Salaspils versus Rut, especially because in windy conditions, both teams do like to favour those big, high hucks. So what's going to happen? We're going to see
the world-famous Windmill wipe.
Oh, yes, I've been enjoying that here. And Windmill, as we say, one of the premier fun tournaments of violation there. Katarina Rantanen getting a little bit too hasty.
A little bit of an eager beaver.
Eager beaver indeed. Hopefully they can build a dam on defense. But that's not what they're doing right now. Finds Jones up the sideline, power position. No shots deep that she likes the look of. Oh, and big pressure there. I think Leno might have something to say, but no. Clean bid from Hosokawa, getting right up in the mixture of 4 players.
Yeah, this near side channel is very congested, and that's a problem with the spacing from the Atletico offense. You do better job of recognizing when you're going to get cutters going to the same space and having one of those clear out, maintaining that communication.
Indeed, especially because when you clear out, your defender might decide that the undercut is still the best option and leave you rather free. Oh, as Hosokawa snags it out from in front of the hand of Katarina Rantanen.
She's got fast feet and fast hands, really to get in there quick to just swipe it away from the defender. Ties up at 9 apiece as this game draws closer to its conclusion.
Indeed, it does. And we have, well, we're talking about it being a grinder of a game. It's just continue throughout, blow for blow, to Titan of European Women's Ultimate, the German champions and the European champions. We'll see replay of that lovely score. Hosokawa, huge smile on her face, double fisted celebration. And rightly so, as they keep themselves within contention. If this one continues to trade like it has done the past few points, Benji, we will see it go to the ladies in white versus, as opposed to the ladies in red. I keep resisting using any more of the song lyrics from that song, and I'm very proud of myself for that, Benji.
I'm also very proud of myself for not really knowing the rest of the lyrics of that song.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Currently, these two teams are definitely cheek to cheek. I couldn't resist it. But Mainzelmädchen with the pull. One of the fellow captains, number 21, Helen Grosse-Braukmann. Hopefully, Helen, I am pronouncing your surname as accurately as possible. She did notify herself as one of the more difficult, challenging names on this Mainzelmädchen team. But a zone look again as the ladies from Mainz and Darmstadt hope to get ahead. Eklund very free on the near sideline to us. Happy to play, patient. Not very aggressive moves from the handlers. I'd like to see, Benji, them moving a bit more actively through the wall. Very reliant at the moment of putting it round the sides as opposed to punching through.
And I think this is going to play into the hands of Mainzelmädchen, because they're looking to get a turnover on an overthrow or a drop on one of these swing passes and give themselves a short field. They're allowing them to swing the disc freely back and forth because it's not necessarily gaining many yards for their offense, if any at all.
Yeah, just currently great containment from the zone, as you say. The whole idea of it.
Nice job on the force. They're using the feet to stop that inside backhand from going.
But what I'd like to see, Benji, as I say, is the handlers moving together one of them keeping the sort of saggy cup-like front busy and allowing the shots a little bit through the middle rather than just swinging and finding the side. Inkinen very far away for that side pass.
Feels like these handlers and cutters are very disconnected with each other.
Yeah, now starting to see the offense be even pushed back as Mainzelmädchen's zone really does put that pressure on very effectively.
They've got Westman in plenty of space on this near side, but they're really reticent to hit it.
Yeah, not sure why that is.
I keep thinking that it's begging for a hammer to that space.
Although wind is again starting to pick up, really almost been pushed back now to their end zone line.
This is phenomenal defense from Mainzelmädchen.
Yeah, top-notch stuff. Great communication from the ladies, as you say, who are the unit that work together because they don't have the same style of taking on pickups for their world's rotation.
And you saw that in the roster sheet they gave us. One of the questions they asked is, are there any star players? And they said, we don't see any star players on our team. We just see ourselves as one strong unit.
Well, that's what this zone is right now. One strong, impenetrable unit by the looks of it. Tireless force from Nicholas Stricker. Oh, and a bit more momentum now just as I look down at my roster sheet. And as transition to single coverage, Fister very free in the centre, now being picked up. Inkinen near sideline. Oh, and a great aggressive handler move. That's lovely from Walker. And Inkinen will do the same high release over the top, and it's D'd away by Mainzelmädchen. Oh, that's a little bit too greedy there, Benji.
That was a phenomenal play, just came flying through. I was a little bit suspicious of that transition to the one-on-one defense from Mainzelmädchen because the zone had been so effective, but it just comes roaring through.
And to be honest, Benji, I'm not actually sure. So Inkinen looked initially, didn't really look like, actually, no, I take that back. A closer look at her face, she was expecting that. And a big shot, that is a lovely put, but just a touch too far. Oh, disappointingly falls in front of the feet of Helen Grosser-Braukmann.
Slightly too much mustard on it.
And the zone sets up almost immediately. Westman in the middle.
Yeah, Atletico need to stay patient. They were able to work through it last time and force the transition.
Indeed they were. But it took them a long time, Benji. They might be a little nervy.
And it feels to me like these continuation cuts coming down the side, and they're just a fraction too late, and so the defenders are able to cover and close before the throw can go. Yeah,
definitely not working together as a unit in the same manner that Mainzelmädchen certainly are. Inkinen very free. Got to think perhaps one of the other great things about the defensive set is the fact that it's not really allowing any of the handlers to throw those big puts, even if they wanted to double load in the deep space to match the double load of the zone. Investment far sideline.
With every zone defense, there's always spaces somewhere. The question is, where are they, and can you find them, and can you hit them?
Indeed, I'd like to see the near, well, when they're swinging it, I'd like to see the handlers a little bit further forward positioned. Again, if we can see two of them working together to keep that two-person cup busy.
We're showing some of the disconnection when they just went to the side, and that Fister's cut was a fraction too late, so the front defender was able to get in the way and stop any throw from going upfield. And
oh, and there we see the error finally come. Sarah Eklund tries to use her body to keep it in bounds, but unfortunately even she cannot reel that one in, and a short field indeed for Mainzelmädchen to take a lead back in this game. Oh, Benji, 93 minutes have elapsed. What are we going to see? Furious defense. Great work there from Izzy Inkinen, staying on the shoulder, but allows the easy reset. And oh, very close opportunity ripe. Oh, and there we see Hosokawa doing it again, streaming up that sideline. Atletico look miserable about that score, Benji.
Not a huge window, and just had to jam it into the jam hole to Hosokawa. And I think that looks like that might be game.
Well, if that is game, what a way to take it. Hosokawa just coming straight through, and it does look, there we go. Benji, that caught us a little by surprise, but it was neck and neck the whole way through and very well ground out. Universe point finish for the women's final here at Windmill. We'll bring you some highlights from that game and what plays there were. Benji, if you have to pick one standout player for you, who was it and why?
I mean, this is going to be recency bias, but I thought Hosokawa had an excellent game. She made a couple of mistakes, but she's so good at wanting to atone for those, and she goes flying around the field on defense, trying to win those back, and she's such a key cog of their offense. For Atletico, I thought England and Fista both had excellent games as well, but just not quite strong enough, and you have to credit Mainzelmädchen not only coming back to break to win on Universe, but breaking against the wind as well, and they'd just been in that zone, was so strong.
And there we see Hosokawa's vision. For me, Benji, it has to be hats off. She had it all. She had offense, she had defense, she had fantastic spirit.
I know where this is going.
Mel Koshinitsky.
She was fantastic as well.
All day long. She was just fantastic. I'm usually known for fangirling the heck out of Atletico, but I may have found some new players to fawn over.
It's crazy when you think back to like yesterday afternoon, and they just lost 15-4 to Yaka. I don't think anyone would have put Mainzelmädchen in this position. But all credit to them showing such mental fortitude to reset their game and completely reinvent themselves in the second half of this tournament.
Indeed, and lovely to see both teams. Oh, there we go, see that ridiculous clap layout catch. Not often seen those ones complete, but right up in the chin, using her face to keep it in her hands. But nice to see both teams towards the end of that final show their true colours as well. Littered with unforced errors, early stages, but both falling foul to those same mistakes as each other, keeping things neck and neck. What a grind, but fantastic plays all around. These two teams crediting themselves with fantastic moves as they keep their eyes on the prize. We'll look forward to seeing them again in 3 weeks' time on the fields in Ohio, and we'll see that celebration again. Well-deserved win to Mainzelmädchen. We'll have, Benji, one more final left in this Windmill 2018, and that will be the mixed final. Who do we have for the fans with us on the live stream?
We've got perennial Windmill favourites and current reigning mixed division champions.
And Windmill champions from last year on a bit of a salty play.
Oh yes, I'd forgotten about that. I'd disappeared by finals day, but yeah, there was a bit of contention in the win last year, so credit to taking on a side that I don't think anyone necessarily even expected to make the bracket, let alone the final. They were way down in the predictions, but they'll be taking on Salaspils from Latvia in what will be an exciting swashbuckling game.
A swashbuckling game indeed. That is the perfect word. Stay with us. It's been a pleasure. I've been Hannah Pendlebury.
I've been Benjamin Rees.
And that was the women's final. Hope you enjoyed it as much as us.
Alti.tv